Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Labor Live at 12:05. My name is Alex Jorgensen, and I'm the Communications Director here at the Alaska AFL-CIO. And if you don't know, we are in the midst of Labor Month, a month where we're talking about all things labor. And during week 2 of Labor Month, we're talking about the union difference, how unions impact the lives of working people here in Alaska and across the country. And today we have two incredible guests, which I am very excited to have on the show, talking about one of the largest union organizing drives probably in the past decade here in the state of Alaska, and that's the organizing drive that's happening across the University of Alaska system for staff. I know you're probably thinking, wait, what? The staff at the university are not organizing a union? Yes, they are not, but they are about to be, hopefully. So without further ado, we are excited to have Honalee and B from CAUSE-UAW. Welcome to the program. So maybe kind of just jumping in,
Hello.
Why are university staff looking to organize a union?
Well, lots of reasons. We mostly want to have a voice and have a participation in the decision-making within the university. It's been a long time that we have kind of sat on the sidelines and watched a lot of it grow and change, but being that we are a very large chunk of the university, we feel it's time for us to step into a more active role, particularly around job security, wage and benefits increases that need to happen, as we are definitely one of the lower paid areas within the different departments of our state. We just feel like we want to be part of that conversation because there's a lot going on right now. Things are definitely changing, cost of living's changing, and these things are important if we're going to continue being a beneficial part of the economy here in the state. There's a lot. I've got my own personal reasons. I'm sure B has hers, and I've heard from many more of my cohorts. So it's quite varied.
Yeah, B, do you have anything to add to that?
I agree. And yeah, many of us would also love to be part of conversations that impact not only the university, but also our wider community, such as the Board of Regents' recent decision to eliminate DEI language from every university surface that we have. And that has already had a huge impact on our campus culture. And yeah, staff would like to be able to advocate for our community.
Yeah, our unique university system, really, it is a diverse university, and there's just no way about it. And to deny that existence is just a bit strange. And so having that ability to have a voice, have a say, because we are the boots on the ground. We are the people that are making it possible for the university to function alongside with our faculty. And we need to be part of this conversation because we also are part of the diversity.
Absolutely. And I think those are really great points. And I think oftentimes people think that, when workers are forming unions, that it's kind of an antithesis to the entity that they're organizing, that it's the union versus the university. But really, you guys are just organizing to better the university, right?
Yeah, it helps kind of condense a lot of that negotiation that needs to happen, rather than us having to fight on our own as individuals to get the increases or the protections. It makes more sense, again, because we are such a vast chunk of the university, it makes more sense that we would have a union to help us navigate that and to streamline it, both on our end as well as for their end, because it's better when it's, just a few people talking and working for that group rather than every single case-by-case basis.
Unions have also proven to, sorry.
Oh no, go for it, B.
Yeah, unions have proven to increase employee retention Something that the university has a huge problem with right now is staff turnover. And through that turnover, we hemorrhage university knowledge. And so without that knowledge, we can't adequately serve our students. So unionizing increases employee retention, increases the experience of our students and faculty.
There's
So-
definitely a lot of scope creep that occurs because of that lack of retention and inability to fill positions, key positions that we really need, so that everybody doesn't end up doing, 3 or 4 different jobs just to be able to do their original job.
Absolutely. Just personally, I've seen the university go through different challenges over the last decade that I've been involved with the university, and I've not seen a brighter light going for the university than the staff taking, their determination for their own future into their own hands by forming a union. It's just so exciting. It's so exciting for Alaska's labor movement writ large to welcome, 2,500 new people to our movement fighting for workers' rights across Alaska. So I know you guys, this has kind of been a little bit of a long process, and I think that NLRB just kind of formally issued the call for an election because you guys submitted your cards, and the NLRB was like, yes, these cards look fantastic. So what are kind of the next steps in your organizing process for your union?
Sure. I'm happy to take this one. So this has definitely not been without delays, and unfortunately, we are still anticipating more. But as it currently stands, we did successfully file our petition at the end of June. The university requested an extension and kind of drug our card count out for about a month. Labor and Relations obviously saw that we were just going to keep coming with more cards and more cards. So we got to the card count, we passed. Our notice just went out so that if anyone would like to object, or if anyone else is organizing, please let us know. But otherwise, our very next step is defining our unit. We know who our unit is, but we do need to come to an agreement on who's an eligible employee. But we would love for all full-time staff to be in our unit. After that, we will finally get to go to a system vote. So everyone who is eligible to be in our bargaining unit will have the opportunity to vote yes to unionize, and from there we get to negotiate our bargaining agreement.
Yeah, we just have to
a long
keep
road,
the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's so exciting. I know when the grad students were organizing, the university kept just using the same tactics that we know every mega corporation does, and they delay. They delay the inevitable, and there's only one, I think, certain future, and that's a contract for workers across the university. Like your guys' solidarity seems so strong. Your movement is strong. This is only an inevitable outcome, and I hope that the university can recognize that, and instead of playing games and just denying and delaying the inevitable, they could sit down at the table and just automatically recognize the union. And I think that's something that oftentimes a lot of people in our city don't realize is you don't have to have an election per se, right? The company can voluntarily recognize the union. And I think far too often companies choose not to go down that path and instead draw out, spend thousands, if not millions of dollars in unnecessary legal fees for the same outcome. And that's workers achieving the contract that they want. So now that we've kind of discussed why people are organizing and what are the next steps, I know we probably have a lot of viewers at home that are chomping at the bit to support you guys in your efforts. So what are some ways that people can, obviously we don't all work at the university, so we can't really help out in that way, but what are some ways that we can help make your organizing drive and contract negotiations be successful?
I'd say mostly they need to just be positive for us and to us, give us some cheer every now and then. Staying informed, educating themselves on what a union is, how unions have worked historically, what they've given us over the years, but particularly just staying positive. Students and alumni can express support as well. They can even reach out to people they may know within the university to express that. Every little bit of positive support really does kind of resonate on a bigger level throughout the system as we go through this process.
Yeah, I agree. I think right now the biggest show of support from the community would be if people felt strongly enough or so inclined to write an open letter to our governance leaders, including our Board of Regents, and just letting them know why it is so important for the largest unrepresented group of employees to have that stability through unionization.
Well, and I think, I think our listeners are really going to take that advice to heart. And, when push comes to shove, when the university, I think, unfortunately, inevitably pushes back at multiple points in this process that is yet to come, I know Alaska's labor movement is going to stand ready to help you guys in whatever way that is, whether that's flooding Board of Regents meetings with just people demanding that the university offer a fair contract. Our movement is ready to help you guys get across the finish line. So thank you both so much for all the work that you're doing to improve the lives of staff members at the university, to improve our labor movement, and to just fight for, I think, a very just and noble cause. So, and thank you so much for coming in the program. I know it can be very nerve-wracking to come and talk to a couple hundred people live on the air, but you guys are fantastic. And just wanted to turn the floor over to you if you guys had any kind of closing comments before we end this Labor Live.
Just want to say thank you for letting us have a voice. It's good that people are listening and are interested. And I hope that people remember that the way the economy works is retaining people in Alaska. We've often heard talk about Alaska's brain drain, and this is one way that we can definitely combat that and keep more people working in Alaska, living in Alaska. We have to make it affordable to live here. And one way of doing that is making sure that people are paid an appropriate and competitive wages, particularly being that we are people who are building the future generation's knowledge. So just staying supportive of us and all that is huge to us.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to add just one more time that this movement came about because there is such a huge group of staff in the university system who care about the sustainability and longevity of our programs and university systems. And we're doing this to improve the university experience for everybody. We love UA, we want to stay with UA, we just want what literally everyone else in our university system has, and that's union representation.
Yeah, that is so exciting. And I'll just add, here at our office, we have 5 degrees from the University of Alaska system amongst the 4 of us. So our office is obviously very, I would say, biased towards UAA. I'm a UAA grad, so no offense to all the Nanuks and UAS people out there. But again, thank you guys so much for coming on the program. And folks, that is all the time we have for this week's episode of Labor Live. Thank you for tuning in, and tune in next week as we'll be talking with someone from the national AFL-CIO about the big, beautiful bill, or some might say big, ugly bill, and how it impacts Alaskan workers and Alaskan working families. So again, thanks for tuning in. See you next week.